Hello, Portfolio Posse. This is your girl, TC Monet. And today we are going to talk about traditional real estate versus investing real estate. A lot of people do not realize those are two totally different realms of real estate. But we're going to get all into it today. So join us and bring a friend so we can learn how to build our portfolio and get all into this real estate life. Okay, I just had to do that. Okay, so hi, this is your girl TC Monet from TC Monet Realty, and this channel is dedicated to all things real estate. So whether you are an investor, a new investor, experienced investor, you want to get your real estate license, um, you already have your real estate license and just don't know what to do with it. You want to be investing, but you don't know if you need your license. Those are all of the type of things that we deal with. So I'm typing right now, guys. I am putting our email right here in comments. So if you have any comments or want to reach out, feel free to email us. Or if you have just like questions or something like that, you can also text this number. So here we go. We talked about this before as far as being able to how can you find sorry about that. How to find the best agent for you, right? So we talked about realtors, right? What's the difference between a realtor and an agent, right? Do you need an agent? Do you need a realtor? Do you need an investor friendly realtor? Do you need that at all? Like, there's so many questions, and that's why we're here for your support. So, as I've explained before, I am a referral agent, right? And so I'm also going to put the link to my website. The link is in here. So, what that does is no matter where you are in whatever 50 states of the United States, I can help you find a realtor. You go to their website, you put in your request, you let people know, you let the agent know what you need. And in comments, you put investor friendly real estate. So you need to clarify if you're trying to get into investing and you're going to need things like to meet your investor needs, let them know that so that they can find and when they're going out and researching their realtors that they're going to pick for you, because all realtors have they look at their backgrounds. How many houses have they sold? Have they dealt with investments before? Da, da, da. So they go through their background. So if you say you need an investor friendly realtor, they're going to find you an investor friendly realtor. They're not just going to get you a traditional realtor because, frankly, they won't know what to do, right? So I just happen to have my feet in both worlds. So I'm bringing this to you because I've learned that a lot of people don't realize about the difference. Okay, so here we go. What is traditional real estate, right? So traditional real estate is Zillow, okay? So you finally you want to buy a house, you know, you finally got your credit together, you got pre-approved for a $400,000 mortgage, you're eligible to find a house up to 400,000. That doesn't mean you should find a house for 400,000 given interest rates in the market today. But that means that if you go out and find a house that's 300,000, you can do that because you have up to 400,000 that you can get, right? So that will be a mortgage loan. So that means they have to go through your credit, check your income, make sure they know where your money's coming from, where it's going to, pull your bank statements, da da da. All the things that go along with a mortgage application and a mortgage loan. That's traditional. And it matters on the real estate end because that means that it cannot close any sooner than 30 days because the lender has to do their due diligence and underwriting and everything they need to do in order to even produce the 400,000 that they said that you are pre-qualified for. There's a lot of back office work that goes into that. There's a lot of, checks and, employment check, resident check, credit check, check, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in underwriting for mortgage loans. So in this day and market, you'll be lucky if you close in 45 days, but the average is 30 to 45 days. That's a traditional loan. So that's FHA, VA, conventional, anything with a loan is traditional because you're going to have to wait. It takes time. You have to process and underwrite. Okay. So that's traditional. When you think traditional, think mortgage loan. Now, if you are just doing investments, right? So investors, they are looking at a whole different thing. Investors, they don't even use mortgage loans. Okay. Investors use cash. So that's why they're always looking for the best deal. They're the ones that are most likely buy that broke down, dilapidated house down the street that's been sitting vacant for 5 years. That's what investors do. They buy the uglier the better with investors because that means that they can get it for cheap and they can flip it and then they can turn around and sell it for what the ARV is, the after repair value. All right, so I don't know if you guys haven't watched the video about how I got into real estate. Go back and watch that video because that's where I got into real estate as I was going to school and work and seeing all these like broke down houses. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So there are a lot of broken down houses. If you go into the hood or, less desirable neighborhoods, you will see houses, broken windows, boarded up, sunken in porches. The worse condition, the better for investors because that means they can get a good deal on it. So even in this market, so even if the house is broke down, raggedy, boarded up, and you're like, they need to tear that house down. Not for an investor. No, 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 no. They are like, that is exactly the house they want. And so they will never be able to get a loan on their properties because it won't get through underwriting, right? So just think about this. If you're going to loan somebody $300,000, you want to make sure that you are loaning them money on an asset that makes sense. No broken windows, da da da. So traditional real estate, they look at the pretty houses. Those are the houses with the stainless steel appliances and the granite countertops and the hardwood floors and, the pretty houses. Those are mortgage houses. Those are not the houses investors look at. Investors look at the horrible, ugly houses, boarded up. There's been a fire. I don't know, the windows are shot out. The whole porch is sunken in. It caught on fire and it's literally down to the frame. Those are investor dreams. And they will never be able to get financing on those properties. So they pay cash, right? So back to this ARV thing, after repair value. That is how much the house is worth in its best condition, right? So when they built the house back in 1980, the house was worth 200,000. Now, it's almost 30 years later, 40 years later, the house is broken down, the wiring is outdated, the plumbing is outdated, electrical, the floors, everything. The house is just horrible. But so right now it looks like it needs to be torn down. But if the investor can get that raggedy tore down house for $10,000, pump $50,000 of repairs into it to replace the wiring and the plumbing and make it look good, cut the grass, throw on some new walls, throw on a new roof. They need to pump $50,000 into it to get it looking back up to market and get it back onto the market. And now it's back to its 1980 condition when they first built it. So now it's back worth the 200,000 because the investor put the money into it and they fixed it. So now suddenly this raggedy broke down house that looked like it needed to be torn down, the investor went in, broke it down to the studs, replaced everything. I'm talking about gutted it, new floors, new walls, new drywall, new insulation, new thermostat, doorbell, electrical, wiring, plumbing. I'm talking about totally regutted it and redid it. Now the house is back to its glory. So this same house that they was just go tear down, that you thought like, why is it even standing? The investor goes, pumps the money back into it. Now all of a sudden it's worth $200,000 again. It's back to what it was when they first built it in 1980. So the investor bought the piece of property for $10,000. They put $50,000 into it. So they have a $60,000 investment and the house is worth $200,000. So do you understand what investing is? The gap between the investment that the investor made and the ARV. That's where the money is, right? So if they bought the house for $10,000 and they pumped $50,000 of repairs into it, their investment is $60,000. The house ARV is $200,000, which means they have $140,000 income potential in that property. Now, when we go in and add inflation and the market and da da da, they can maybe sell that house for $250,000, depending on the neighborhood, location. And I know to some people this may seem very basic, but to some people it's like, whoa, is that how that works? So I want all of us on the same page when it comes to this investing thing, because when you know better, you can do better. All right. So suddenly this $10,000 property that is now, the investor has now invested $60,000 into it. Now all of a sudden, because of inflation and repairs and maybe the trend of the neighborhood has changed and da da da. When they built the house, it was worth $200,000. But now, 30, 40 years later, it's worth $250,000. So the investor has only put $60,000 into the house. They bought it for 10 and they put 50 in it. So they only out of 60,000. But now the house, which was originally 200,000, but now inflation and 40 years later is worth $250,000. That gap between the 60,000 and the 250,000, that's that $190,000. That's that income. That's what investors are going for. All right. So if you try to tell that to a traditional real estate agent, they will have no idea what you're talking about. Their first thing is, why would you want that house? Because us agents, we are trained to get the best property for our clients, right? And traditionally, our clients are looking for their forever home for their family. So that means it needs to be in a good neighborhood, by the school, stainless steel appliances, fireplace, hardwood floors, no carpet. I need a new roof and that, all of these things that you're looking at for your forever home. That is not even the least bit worry of an investor. They don't care about none of that. They're not worried about it. All they worried about is getting to that $190,000, right? So they want to know, oh, excuse me, guys, there's something in my eye. They want to know about their return on investment. All right. So in this case, if an investor spends 60,000 and now the ARV is 250,000, they have the potential to make $190,000 in profit on that property. That same property that the traditional buyer wouldn't even look at. You would not look at that home for your forever home. But an investor, the uglier the better. All right. So I'm letting you know this because this is the mindset. You need to understand the mindset of traditional versus investment. Okay. So if I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home by my son's school, it needs to be in a nice neighborhood, low crime rates, low taxes, by one of the highest rated schools in the neighborhood, da 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 da. And I qualify for a $400,000 loan and I want the best that my money will purchase. That's a whole different transaction than an investor that buys this raggedy, broke down house so they could go in and knock the walls out and totally gut it. I'm talking about down to the studs, right? And rebuild it and put the equity into it so they can pull it out. So the investor, they don't spend 60,000 in cash. They do cash closings. So now you the agent, right? I'm the agent. You're the agent. So I'm a traditional agent. Okay, I got on my traditional agent hat. I'm talking to an investor and they're telling me to get them the ugliest, raggediest house that they can find. And by the way, get it to me quick. I'm a traditional agent. I don't look at ugly houses. I don't get my clients ugly houses. That's not what I'm trained to do. I am trained to find the best value for my clients' money, right? So it's a whole mindset. It's a whole mindset. Now, me being a traditional, and I know how to sell a pretty house. Been there, done that. But I also know what investors are looking for. Investors don't, I mean, maybe for future potential, they want to make sure it's in a good neighborhood, by the good school. So the potential of somebody, buying it increases. But when the investor is purchasing that property, they don't care about what it looked like. They care about their ROI. What is the cheapest they can get that property? And they don't mind going in, gutting it, taking it out, repainting it, redoing the walls, drywall, roof. That's what they do. But if I'm a traditional agent, I'm going to be like, I am not selling anybody that house. That house is garbage. It needs to be torn down. But if I'm an investor friendly agent, I'm going to know exactly what to look for. I'm going to know, don't even bring him a pretty house. I'm going to know that, even if it is reduced. Because sometimes you'll see that newly reduced, da da da. No. Investors want houses they can get for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000. That's what makes it an investment. Because if they get it for 10, put 50 in it, they've invested 60, but they could turn around and flip it for 250. That's investing right there. That is not a traditional transaction. Your traditional agent is not going to have a clue about why that investor is interested in that raggedy house. No clue. Nor are they going to be inclined to bird dog, all right, and be driving around looking for raggedy houses. That's just not what us traditional agents do. So I hope that helped because I know there's a lot of confusion out there. A lot of people think, well, just because, you're licensed, you should be able to get me what I want. But you really, really need to understand there is a huge, huge difference in traditional versus investment real estate. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it helped clarify some things for people. In the comments, if you have any comments or you want to get started investing, or you have a house that is just so raggedy, you just want to get rid of it, or you're in a whole different state, you're a landlord, you're just done. I just don't want these properties anymore. I'm done. Give me a price, and I'm dumping, right? Or if you have a vacant property and you want to turn it into an Airbnb, or any, see, these are the things that investment brokers, investment agents do. Those are the things. I'm in both worlds. I understand traditional and investment. And I also work with a network of realtors that understand traditional and investment. So, again, the link to my website where you can find a realtor is in the comments. So, remember, when you go to that website and you need a realtor and you need them to be investor friendly, be sure to notate that. I need an investor friendly realtor, because a traditional realtor is not going to do. What you're going to do is end up wasting a lot of time, being frustrated, because a traditional agent is not going to bring you what you're looking for, because they don't work in that world. It's like they're used to selling Benzes and you're asking them to find a 1920 Porsche. You know, it's it's a whole different, it's a totally different, so I hope that was helpful. Again, if there's anything that was confusing, you need clarification on, or any comments or statements you'd like to make, please be sure to put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And we also want you to join our investor circle, which is only $25 a month. But if you're one of our first 100 subscribers, you will get it free for the first 30 days. Now, the Investor Circle has contracts. We have a Teams meeting environment where we get online, we hop online, and we just do a round robin, introduce ourselves, ask any questions, any contracts, share ideas. And, I'm in Texas. So I might have somebody in Georgia that wants to move to Texas. So I need to find that personal realtor, whatever it is. Reach out, and we are here to help you grow your portfolio. Thank you for joining.